Alright, what's up guys, Theaveragegamer signing on back with another video. So I woke up, did my usual workout, thanked the Lord for a new day, all that jazz. And I woke up and I got on Twitter. Terrible decision, don't do it. And I kind of found something pretty interesting that we're going to have to talk about. Those of you who know me know that I love Tekken. I uploaded videos on it in the channel, did some Paul videos, did some Lydia videos. Did not play the story mode, funnily enough. But there was something that was revealed apparently last night that a lot of people are very pissed about. And it's unfortunate because I don't like it when the community's pissed. But we gotta talk about it because it is, again, pretty interesting. As always, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. On our way to 500 subs, all that. But let's get into the actual issue here. So, Tekken, the official Tekken page, well, I guess the official Japanese Tekken page, put out this tweet. I got the translation. This is involving the, I believe God, can I say his name? The Heihachi patch. I can never say that. Anyway, Heihachi patch dropping. Obviously, we have this new stage, the Gemaji Temple. It was revealed in the trailer and all that. Looks really sick, So, additional battle stage, now available on all platforms. And then this right here is where we have issues. This DLC, the DLC being the stage in particular, is not included in the playable character year 1 pass. I'm pretty sure this include, like, if you just bought the pass separately with the base game, or if you bought that, like, Ultimate Edition, or, like, Deluxe Edition that came out. I forget which one it was, but apparently, regardless of what edition you bought, regardless if you have the character pass or not, you have to pay, I believe, $5? I think this DLC is $5. Yeah, you have to pay $5 for this, map. I think we can all understand why people are pissed. I actually did not see this tweet first. I saw it from the boy Roman, a very solid fellow if you ask me. Wait, I'm not following him? What the hell? Anyway, my bad. My bad, Roman. Yeah, not including the new stage for season pass holders and paywalling it for okay, it is $5. Nice. Is a scummy move. Unbelievably disappointed. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I saw this tweet first because it obviously, like, kind of in the Tekken circle, so even if it's not trending nationally, I see stuff on my For You page and all that. So I saw this and I was like, huh. And so I went to the Tekken page. I didn't see it, but again, it was on the Japanese page. Yeah, this is really bad. I'm not even going. It's bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm typically someone who gives a lot of benefit of the doubt when it comes to new fighting games in particular. The FGC kind of has this thing of perpetually complaining about shit, and I just don't like doing that. A, I think it's unoriginal. B, part of me is kind of contrarian. And C, most of the time when people complain, they actually complain about the devs and not the CEOs and parent companies and publishers. And for me, no matter what, I almost never blame the devs for decision making. I pretty much always blame the publisher, this case being Bandai. I think the Tekken team is pretty good, all things considered. This to me just seems like a move that devs have no control over. That, like, when I read this, I was like, oh, this was Bandai's call, So, yeah, this is really bad. Obviously, a lot of people gave their takes on this, I guess, is the best way to put it. In reality, they kind of just started shit talking. And rightfully so. I mean, don't get me wrong, the character pass is exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like characters. But over the course of, I guess the DLC era, it was somewhat common practice that if you bought, like, the character pass, season pass, Ultimate Edition, Deluxe Edition, you would kind of get all the stuff, whether that would be colors for the new characters that came out, whether that be the stages that came out with the characters. And so for you to just paywall this for the entire community is pretty crazy. Not to mention, as we'll go through, you were already kind of on thin ice. Don't get me wrong, you kind of benefited from the game actually being relatively fun. You had a lot of new people coming in who didn't really know the history of Tekken. They were far more forgiving of some of the things that more experienced players were kind of getting pissed about. But this just pains your reputation for everyone. As we go to our next tweet here, at Konji, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Even though the season pass is described as a character pass, Tekken not giving you the stage associated with the character feels underhanded. Hopefully this will get changed, but this is not, because this is not it. And yeah, kind of what I mentioned before. It technically did not violate anything that they directly said. But seeing as though Lydia, when she came out, she actually came with a free stage. The stage is, I believe, associated with her, but I think what they did was, if I remember correctly, they released the character. The stage itself wasn't in the past. Please leave in the comments if I'm misremembering this. I think the stage was actually a part of a free update that came with the release of Lydia. So there were technically two separate things. They were just like connected in a sense. So yeah, this just goes against the norm more than anything. And I think that's the biggest problem people are having now. Especially right after we had Lydia, we got a free stage, which was lovely, by the way. I love the stage that Lydia has. But for you just to turn around and do this with heihachi of all people is absolutely insane. Someone else points this out. Namco making you spend $5 for a new stage in Tekken 8, even if you have the season pass. What's crazy is the beat stage was available for free. I don't understand why Namco would do this, lol. Coming from Deuce. Shout out Deuce. Let me follow you. Let me follow you too. Anyway. Let me tell you why they did this. Money. It all goes back to money, folks. And this is why I almost never blame the dev teams when I see stuff like this on my page. Why is my What's Happening trending page keep updating? Anyway, I almost always place the blame at Namco's feet, as Deuce is doing here. Yeah, this is a money move. What's actually pretty interesting is they kind of foreshadowed this, and we'll get to our last tweet in a second, coming from FeedX, obviously a legend. But when the Tekken shop released, well, not even released, when it was revealed, there was a widespread problem in the community. No one liked it. No, well, I'm not going to say no one, but I think the main criticism was, why are you revealing this at, like, I think they revealed it when the game was already out, if I remember correctly. Now, I made a video regarding the situation, and my take was essentially, you know, I don't really mind a shop existing. I think my only problem with it was you revealing it at the time you did was pretty lame. I gotta be honest. Like, it was pretty lame for you to reveal it at that time. So, this kind of just piles on top of that, all things considered. You were already on thin ice when it came to some of the more experienced and well-known figures in the community. People have been playing this game for a long time. As boy Roman said, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, right? So this just is another thing that people are going to pile on in terms of your reputation. And new players that came in, they probably didn't have much of an issue with the Tekken shop, but they will definitely have an issue with this. Because again, we did it for Lydia. Where was that tweet? Yeah, it's this one, sorry. We did the free stage for Lydia. And so you now turning around to do this. Seemingly nothing more than a cheap money grab. I guess what, you saw how much hype Heihachi was getting? Oh, he's not dead. Oh, this stage is really cool. Not to mention we're getting, I believe, the story modes. The new story mode eventually. I forget if they're actually releasing it in this upcoming patch or not. But for you just to turn around and do this was kind of crazy. It's something that everyone's looking forward to, you know? Kind of unfortunate. Which leads to our last tweet from the boy FeedX. Shout out FeedX. Why do I not follow any of these people? Anyway. They said they want the game to last a really long time, like a live service game, excuse me. I catch my breath there. Think of the reputation damage this will do, on top of the previous damage. It's not the move, it feels so short-sighted. The player base is already small, the community is already angry, and word will travel fast. It will be harder to attract new players. So, there have been many videos, you've probably seen them going around YouTube for the past like 3-4 years. Modern gaming sucks. It sucks. Microtransactions galore, gambling habits galore. Bunch of things that are made for greed and not for the love of the community. Again, almost none of this is on the devs. But I think a couple things here. Live service game. I forget the actual quote that this was brought by. If I remember correctly, I think it was Bandai themselves that said, oh yeah, we want kind of this fighting game to be a live service game with constant updates, kind of a circling season-like system. And I think this philosophy kind of led to them doing the whole shop thing. And honestly, do I mind the idea of live? No, okay, live service is kind of like a very bad term nowadays. But in reality, the idea of having relatively consistent patches, consistent new content, like these are things that a fighting game could theoretically benefit from, right? But calling it live service definitely put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, which compounded, of course, with the shop. No one really liked it. Again, not really nobody, but many of the experienced players who have been playing for a long time did not like it. As for me, made a video, again, I was kind of indifferent to the idea. I just didn't like that they revealed it when the game was already fucking out. Okay, that was very weird to me. BX also mentions it being overall short-sighted, and I have to agree with this as well. Don't get me wrong, you'll get money from this. People will buy it because the stage is cool, and it is centered around Heihachi, which is a legendary Tekken character. But the fact that you would do this for $5? Again, going back to our first tweet from Roman, scummy as hell, man. It's just scummy. Especially right, again, you just did the whole free thing with Lydia. You're still regaining some trust and some goodwill from the community. All of which, by the way, I don't even think is your fault. Again, FGC, we love to complain about shit. But I'm actually, a person like me is very willing to give some leeway in terms of things that these games engage in, but yeah, this is stupid. Even if you wanted to pull some crap like this, I don't know why you would do it with Heihachi of all people. Like, honestly, I don't. I feel like you would do this. We kind of think that like a guest character will be in the game or whatever at some point. I feel like doing that with like a guest character stage would have been more, don't get me wrong, still shitty, but it will still be like more understandable. Doing this with a character like Heihachi just makes no sense to me. And then this last one I think sums it up great. Player base is already small, the community is already angry, and then it will be harder to attract new players. Yeah, this community is not like insanely big. You can look at the Twitch numbers. Not a lot of people are engaging with this game. We're kind of past the honeymoon phase as we're entering the 1 year kind of mark for Tekken 8 being out. And the game has already been through a lot of controversy, whether it was through stuff like this, whether it was through the shop, whether it was just because of general balancing, or I guess I should say lack thereof, because we, funnily enough, despite this game being live service or wanting to be live service, we don't get that many updates. Now, I made a video about this kind of same thing involving Street Fighter, and I actually don't mind that there's not that many updates, primarily because I think the pro scene is important, and I don't want the game to be changing at a rate that the competitive scene can't keep up. So I'm actually okay with there not being that many patches. Granted, I think we can go a little faster. I think we can up the frequency a little bit. But overall, in my opinion, the pro circuit is important. I want pros to get time with the game. I want the meta to actually evolve so we actually know what is or isn't a problem. So I'm actually okay with that. But in terms of attracting new players when the game goes on sale or when Season Pass comes out a couple years down the line, we have the Ultimate Edition. Everyone knows that every character that's going to be in the game or whatnot. Are people going to be attracted to this game knowing it has stuff like this? Knowing it has stuff like the shop? I don't know. You know? Someone like me, I did, for full disclosure here, I bought both Eddie and Lydia. I did not buy the Season Pass because I have a hard cap. Unless it's something like very exciting. I tend not to buy Season Passes that I don't know the characters of. That's just something I don't do. Granted, in hindsight, yeah, I probably could have bought the Season Pass. Because even Lydia, Eddie alone would probably be enough for me. Heihachi's cool, but even so, like, Barking Zero's coming out in a week. I'm probably not going to play the character anyway, because I've never really played him in my entire history of Tekken. So, in reality, I guess I saved myself like, what, 15 bucks, I guess, assuming the last character in the pass is something I also don't want. But, you know, for someone like me who didn't buy the pass, I actually could kind of understand. Like, even if you wanted to make this play, having someone like me buy the stage, who doesn't have the Season Pass, I feel like, don't get me wrong, I still have an issue. Slightly. But I could understand it, right? You probably would have to be, you could, like, bundle it in with Heihachi or some shit. I think the biggest problem for me is Season Pass and Ultimate Edition holders. People who spent upwards of $100 to support your game. You're gonna make them pay $5 more for a stage. It's like, god damn, man. Like golly. Look, this is bad. There's really no defending it. This is a pointless grab that, in the short term, sure, it'll earn them some dough, I guess. But what good is that if it costs your reputation? Sometimes your reputation is a little more important. And as FDX said, in a game that has already been surrounded by pretty noticeable controversy and anger within the community, doing something like this now just seems so... I mean, it's not only like scummy, not only is it like underhanded, I just think it's stupid. Like, I don't even, like, what's the actual point of this? Sure, yeah, you'll gain a couple bucks, but golly, that's not... Bucks are not the only thing that matters. But of course, when it comes to these publishers, Bandai and who else, they know the heat will barely go on them. Most people will blame the devs, as most people do when it comes to things like this, which is disappointing. I want everyone to be blaming Bandai for this. I don't want to see no hate on the devs. I've already seen some, granted, but no more, no more. This is entirely a publisher move. Entirely. So you think devs are going to be pocketing this money that they gained from this? Fuck no. Alright. Yeah, this is very disappointing. Granted, I'm not going to be playing Tekken that much in the upcoming, like, when does Sparking Zero come out? Next Tuesday? Yeah. I'm probably going to have, like, this is going to be, like, my last week of Tekken for a while. But the fact that this is the last thing I'm probably going to have to see regarding this game is so disappointing. And it sucks because I think the game is fun. I think the game is fun. It has its dumb moments. I don't particularly like Heat. Yeah, I probably prefer older Tekken's gameplay-wise, but I can acknowledge some shit that is just fun. And it's really unfortunate that a game that actually has some pretty compelling gameplay moments is overshadowed by shit that doesn't even really involve playing the game. What's up, guys? Editing Average in the building here. I actually need to cut the video a little bit because Harada actually posted something that I do want to go over because it's directly tied to this issue. Harada said, I understand the community has some questions about the release about the stage DLC. As the person in charge of the Tekken franchise, I apologize. It was made clear from the beginning that the Year 1 Pass, Season Pass, would not include stages, but even so, when Lydia was released, the Seaside Resort stage was a free update, and in this case, even though the additional story mode, which would have been the highest development cost, is also a free update, but the stage was sold separately, and as a result, the release ended up being one that was not well understood or accepted by everyone. Excuse me. At least almost all community was expecting the pattern to continue with Lydia. Ooh, I gotta breathe here. Editing Average in the building. Yeah, we'll just take this piece by piece, I guess, because this is actually long as hell. So we'll take this piece by piece. Yeah, he kind of needed to apologize. He kind of needed to. Again, I didn't even mention the whole story mode bit, but yeah, that's also important. The story mode is also free, from what I gathered. It's also free, and it definitely had a higher development cost than that damn stage. So for you to just go against this pattern for this one stage regarding one of the pillars of your franchise is absolutely insane. There are some valid reasons for this, but I will talk about the background to this as an individual in order to increase transparency. I do like that word. And I swear, in the 2020s, transparency has become one of my favorite words, let me tell you. The Tekken project is divided into two companies, game development and a publisher. Yes, so as I talked about, this is a publisher move. Let's see if we talk about it. That is responsible for game sales. At the time of development and release of Tekken 7, the development and publishing companies were not separate. As some of you may know, I moved to the development studio side a few years ago and have been focusing on maximizing the quality of the content, graphics, etc. The development side and publishing side each have their own roles. Yes, they do, and there are differences in the way they think and their responsibilities. Yeah, all this means devs want to create a great game that they can be proud of and that people will reward them for and give them credit for. Publishers care about money. There we go. Whatever sells the game and amount of money in the pockets, that's what they're going to do. I, who should be the one to act as the bridge between the two, have not been able to properly participate in the publishing sales decision-making process as a result, I think there were parts of the process that did not take the Tekken community's opinion into account. So Harada is saying that he was not part of the publishing decision, despite him being there for some time. Because again, he went to Tekken. I think he went to the development side in Tekken 7, which is fairly interesting. Now, was this a voluntary choice of him not being into the publishing side, being that bridge, as he points out, or was he pushed out by the publishing team? Excuse me. Because based on this, I don't really see any accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he not take the initiative to be the bridge, or was he pushed out of being the bridge to begin with? Acted as a bridge between the two, have not been able to properly... See, he says he hasn't been able to properly participate, which makes me think that this wasn't... He wanted to, but it wasn't really in the cards for him. I don't know. But not taking the Tekken's community opinion into account, that's been happening for forever, so that's not that's not a problem. I think I failed to create that is a problem, but it's not a new problem. I think I failed to create an organizational structure that would allow me to oversee things beyond my own. Okay, so he's taking some responsibility for the situation. One of my roles was to listen to the opinions of the community and reflect them not only in the content, but also in the out game. But I was clearly becoming passive, worrying about the relationships between companies, not exercising my role. From now on, I will review this structure and change it to one that values the community and as it did in the past. Okay. So, correction. It seems like part of this was on him for not being as proactive. Seems like he prioritized being civil and having cool relationships with the companies instead of taking our thoughts into account. Unfortunate. I really like the statement from Harada. Thank you, as always. I do like transparency. Again, my favorite word in 2024. But sadly, I think these two paragraphs really kill this. Because if you weren't in the community helping, because you were, as you say, the bridge between the community, the devs, and the publisher. If our voices were being heard by you, but you weren't relaying them, that's the problem. Regardless of how good your intentions might be, regardless of anything, it's a problem. One thing I am kind of interested in, though, how do I want to word this without sounding like an ass? I think the main question is, for how long has this been going on? For example, did he have a role in the Tekken shop being created? Was this an example of him worrying about company relationships and not taking the community into account? Because Harada probably should have known that community was not going to like the Tekken shop. He probably knew that. And so, was this the case throughout Tekken 8's development? Was this a case after the game released? How long has this kind of lack of bridge between these three entities, the community, the dev team, and the publisher, how long has the lack of that been going on? I do not know. But, as always, yeah, these things are good. Transparency's good. Thank you, Harada. Sadly, maybe a little too late, buddy. Because something like this is probably not going to get retracted. I expect it to be the stage to be $5 going forward. I do not think it will change. They might bundle it, maybe. But even then, you're going to have so many people who are just going to buy it anyway. And then what are you going to do? You're going to refund them? Hard to say if you make it free. So I think it's probably just going to stay the way it is. Sadly, the community got shot in the foot. There's like nothing to say. But yeah, I just wanted to go over this. Sorry for the cut. Editing average will be better. Let's get back to the, I guess I'll put this at the end of the video. So forget my fucking outro. We'll just do the outro now. Be sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed. I'm trying to do these more not interactive but commentary like videos. So I kind of want to get better at talking. I want to get better, at talking off the cuff about news and whatnot. So yeah, leave in comments below your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching as always. Let me know if you like this kind of content, by the way, as my phone rings, because again, editing average. Yeah, just let me know your thoughts. My thought, this sucks, so. As always, thank you guys for watching. Average Gamer signing off. See you guys next time.